Welcome to Unlocking the Parenting Code, all about boys. I'm Kathy, and this season is dedicated to exploring the unique world of raising boys. Parenting boys today can feel like trying to crack a complicated code, a mystery, especially when it comes to understanding their inner emotional world. Together, we'll dive into real life stories, share practical tips, and uncover insights to help you and your son thrive, not just survive. So grab your coffee, settle in, and let's unlock the parenting code, one boy at a time. What's that one thing that could have the biggest impact on your parenting? What's the secret to understanding your son's behavior, especially when he misbehaves? And what's the one shift that could change everything? Today, I'm going to unlock this parenting code with you. Welcome back to Unlocking the Parenting Code, all about boys. I'm Kathy, and today we're tackling something that has the power to completely transform how you see and support the boys in your life. If you've ever felt frustrated by your son's behavior, struggled to connect with him emotionally, or questioned whether you're doing enough to guide him, then stick with me. This episode is for you. Let's do a quick experiment. Grab a piece of paper or just think about it, and I will ask you 4 simple questions. The questions are, what's the child's name? What is their personality like? What hobbies do they enjoy? And what career might they have as an adult? You can pause this anytime you want to fill out your answers, but I'll just go through it. Imagine I show you a portrait of a toddler, a little one, dressed in a frilly dress with a matching hair ribbon. Answer those 4 questions for this child. Got it? The name, personality, possible hobbies, and maybe a future career. All right. Now I want you to imagine that I show you another portrait of a toddler, this time wearing denim overalls and a backwards baseball cap. Answer those same 4 questions again. Child's name, personality, hobbies, possible career. Now compare your 2 sets of answers. Most people automatically assume the first child is a girl and the second is a boy, and their responses reflect that. Did you? Chances are, if you thought the first image was a girl, you gave her a feminine name like Susie or Betty or Jane. You might have described her personality as sweet, kind, or caring. You may have imagined her enjoying hobbies like reading, drawing, ballet. And for her future, perhaps a teacher, a nurse, or an artist. But for the second image, the one you assumed was a boy, your answers probably shifted. Maybe you named him John or Jack or Peter. Perhaps you described him as energetic, adventuresome, and even a little mischievous. His hobbies? Sports, climbing, or rough and tumble play. His future career? A truck driver, factory worker, or alarmingly, some people even said, well, this one's headed for trouble. Here's the truth. It's the same child in both images. Take a moment to let that sit in. Look at your responses. Your responses were not based on who the child actually is. They were based on whether you thought the child was a girl or a boy. These automatic, stereotypical assumptions reflect our unconscious gender biases. And here's the thing. These biases are so deeply ingrained that we rarely question them, but we need to question them. Studies show that people speak and interact differently with babies depending on whether they believe the child is a boy or a girl. Girls often receive more gentle words, more animated conversations, and softer interactions. Meanwhile, boys receive fewer words overall and more physical engagement, like playful jostling or tossing them in the air. Now think about what that means for boys as they grow up. What happens when a boy learns that showing vulnerability might lead to ridicule or embarrassment? What if he realizes that in order to be accepted, he has to hide his true emotions, that he has to wear different masks just to fit in? And what happens when we, as parents, reinforce this without even realizing it? When we tell our sons, oh, be a big boy, don't cry, or you need to protect your sister, she's a girl. When school expects him to sit and focus like the girls, even though his body is wired to move, this affects our boys. Over time, many harden. They suppress their emotions and stop expressing their true selves. And to me, that is truly heartbreaking. So let's take a moment to reflect. Have you ever expected your son to just get over it, something when he was upset? Have you ever been more patient with a daughter's tears than with your son's frustration? If so, don't feel guilty. The goal here isn't to blame, it's awareness. Okay, so we've identified some of the unconscious biases. So let's talk about what's really happening in the inner world of our boys. Behind every misbehavior, there is an unmet need, whether physical or emotional. When a child acts out, it's often a cry for help. If we focus only on correcting the behavior without addressing the underlying needs, we miss the opportunity to truly guide and support our boys. We need to connect before we correct. Over the years, I've worked with hundreds of boys of all ages, and one incident stands out because of its common theme. There was an 8-year-old boy who kept getting sent to my office, where I served as the principal, due to repeated outbursts during recess soccer games. Whenever he felt something was unfair, he would lose his temper and lash out physically at another child. As a repeat offender, he and I developed a close relationship. Because of my understanding of boys and their unique challenges, I approached the situation differently. When he arrived at my door, I didn't immediately engage in conversation, even if he was eager to explain how it was all someone else's fault. Instead, I asked him to sit down, drink some water, and when he was ready, write down what happened, not why it happened, just what happened. At first, it took some refining, as he needed to learn how to focus on the facts rather on just his emotions. But by the time he finished writing, he had usually calmed down enough to have a real conversation. With a series of clarifying questions, I could get to the core of the issue, and it was never just about the incident that had landed him in my office. Over time, our relationship deepened. Our conversations became more meaningful, and eventually, he started coming to my office not because he was in trouble, because he knew it was a safe place where he would be heard. He felt understood and validated. Boys do feel just as deeply as girls, but they express emotions differently. Frustration, anger, or shutting down completely may actually be signs of sadness, anxiety, or feeling misunderstood. The key to helping them isn't to force them to talk. It's to create a space where they feel safe enough to express themselves when they're ready. Instead of asking what's wrong, which can feel like pressure, try saying, I noticed that you seem off today. I'm here if you need me. This kind of way of speaking shifts the focus from demanding a response to simply being present, to being there for him. Another layer to consider is how gender influences our parenting styles. Mothers often use communication and discipline strategies that work well with daughters, but those same approaches don't always resonate with sons. Not because boys don't care, but because they may process things differently. For example, a mother might try to talk through a conflict at length, while her son may shut down because he needs time before he can articulate his feelings. A father might push his son to toughen up because that's how he was raised, without realizing the damage it's causing. When we become aware of these differences, we can adjust our approach and create stronger, more meaningful connections with our boys. At the end of the day, we all want what's best for our children. We're parenting with the tools and knowledge that we have in the moment. Boys don't need to be fixed, but we can expand our awareness and recognize how gender bias shapes the way we interact with them. It influences how we communicate, discipline, and set expectations. With small, intentional shifts, we can create a world where our sons feel safe to be their full, authentic selves. And that change starts with us. If today's episode resonated with you, share it with a friend who's raising boys. Let's change the conversation together. And if you're looking for more strategies and support, check out my free resources and the website at sonhoodcoaching.com. Until next time, keep unlocking the parenting code. If you're a parent raising a boy in today's complex world, be sure to explore sonhoodcoaching.com. You'll discover expert guidance and support designed to help you unlock your full parenting potential. As Amelia Gambetti says, this job is too difficult and too beautiful to do alone. Together we can explore this adventure and discover the magic of raising boys.